Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of Day 4 with the man, Frank SCALISH.
Never gets old, Matt. It never gets old.
No, and neither does wearing the Cleveland Browns garb while they are are they a division leader or a wild card right now?
No, we are guaranteed in the playoffs right now.
Guaranteed in the playoffs. It's been a minute, hasn't it?
Holy smokes, dude. It has been.
Congratulations.
Oh, I didn't do it, but thanks.
It's a weird thing with sports, how everyone's like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, really, you have absolutely no bearing on whether your team does well or not. Like, there's nothing you do. You just sit back, unless you're Alabama, in which case you're donating the NIL money, and then you can feel like you have a small part, maybe, of getting a guy there. But, you know, for the most part, you just sit back, watch, and then take all the glory for something you had nothing to do with.
Exactly. Well, the glory's been a long time coming. Trust me. Cleveland sports is one of nail biting, heavy drinking, and a lot of swearing.
Are we talking about tournament bass fishing or football?
We have both.
I said that pretty much. You just summed up the last 5 years of my Bassmaster Open experience there, Frank.
100%, dude. It's really crazy. It's really crazy because any professional sport, you have your ups and downs, you have your adversity, you have things you totally cannot control. Just like bass fishing, you have variables that are so beyond your control it isn't funny. And then you have variables that you can control. And with all professional sports, the more controllable variables that you can take hold over, the better you're going to do. That's just the bottom line. It's the variables that get away from you that screw you up, and it happens. It happens in every sport there is.
That's a great transition because one of the controllable variables in tournament fishing, fun fishing, bass fishing, any type of fishing is organization,
time.
having what you need when you need it. And I consider what we're going to talk about today kind of like the transmission of your truck. Like, it's not a very sexy thing. You're not going to see it, but it's very critical in getting you from point A to point B, and that is terminal tackle.
100%. Terminal tackle is the most important thing we have because in every bait that we throw, everything that we do, there's terminal tackle involved. And the thing that if you want to talk about tournament fishing, and then here, look, it doesn't even have to be tournament fishing. If you're a weekend guy and you only have one day a week where you can go fishing, the last thing you want to do is waste time. You want to be as efficient time-wise as you can. And Matt can attest to this. Everything in my boat is labeled and organized. So when you open the compartment lid, you see at a glance what everything is. So the biggest in my OCD mentality, the biggest issue that I had was terminal tackle, because how do you put it, how do you organize it? We got, today we have, Demiki rigs, Ned rigs. We've got all kinds of systems that we use to fish with, and each system has its own set of terminal tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So what I have done was I have a tiny box for Demiki rigs, a tiny box for Ned rigs, and this is all terminal. It's not soft plastics. It's all terminal. And then my real terminal tackle, slip sinkers, crane swivels, split rings, rattles, hooks, worm hooks, swim bait hooks, et cetera, go in a different box because that's the one I'm in the most. It's real easy if you set a Demiki system up because you have your Demiki box with your swim baits that you're going to throw, or your forward facing sonar minnows that you're going to throw. And then you have a separate little box with all the different size weights of heads and hook sizes.
Mhm.
Piece of cake. That's easy. Terminal tackle's a pain in the ass. So here, the first thing, sorry about that, a pain in the butt. So
No, it really is. It 100% is. There's nothing worse than opening your terminal tackle after you've been on the water and you've either been in rough water or it's raining or you traveled and you're like, I know I've got it. I have no idea where the hell it is, or it's rusty, or it's the wrong
oh yeah.
size, or it's not sharp. Before you dive into it, though,
Well, I want to.
Okay, go ahead. We'll do a
Okay.
sidebar to the sidebar. Your sidebar first.
Okay, so my sidebar first. So this just happens to be my rattle bait box. Okay, it's very rattle baits.
Very organized.
Very organized. Okay, so if I were to accidentally drop this box on the floor and it should open up and the rattle baits go everywhere, I'm irritated because I got to pick them all up. But it's easy to put them back in the box they go in, right?
Yeah.
But if I drop my terminal tackle box on the floor,
someone's getting murdered.
This is a problem because this will take you a decade and a half to reorganize and to go through everything. And so we'll get into that. But what's your sidebar?
No, let's do a sidebar to the sidebar to the sidebar. You have the rattle baits there. Are we we're recorded today. I had some business to attend to in relation to BTL. So it was a last minute recording for the January 4th show. We're very close to January 4th. It's January 3rd, actually, when we're recording this. But is LureNet? Let me get this straight. Let me make sure I don't let the chicken hatch before the egg. That's not the saying.
The egg before the chicken. What came first?
That's not the right saying, isn't it? You don't want the chicken to hatch before. No, because the egg has to hatch before the chicken. Anyway, isn't there some new? Are there some new rattle bait series coming out?
Yeah, hard knockers and one knockers. So if you guys remember a while ago, probably a year ago, to be honest with you, probably a year ago today, they came out with the new colors in the Booyah Hard Knocker One Knocker. Hit it out of the park. The colors are fantastic. One of my favorite colors is called Graffiti Craw.
Yes, you have talked about that.
Right.
Probably 10 times on the show.
Absolutely. So this color here is bad to the bone because it's got an oil finish on it. It's a crawdad representation. So what they did was, what we did, I guess, not they, we, came out with a series. It's going to be called the Graffiti Cross series.
Oh.
And it's a bunch of different colors in the Graffiti Craw, which is, dude, they're so bad to the bone. And here, look, this is a recorded show, so I can't show you the colors. But when this show airs tomorrow or today, if you're watching it now,
they are watching it now.
January 4th. Okay, yeah, they are. Nobody's watching.
You can't watch it unless you're watching it, Frank.
Okay, so now I'm so confused. So go on LureNet after the show and check them out because there's a whole slew of colors. And let me tell you something. They are fantastic.
Are they all similar to the one Graffiti Craw that's available right now?
Okay.
Just different hues. So there's blues and reds and all sorts of different colors.
Yeah, so they're all very similar to this, but they're different colors. So here's what you got to realize. This is painted on a crawdad carapace.
A what?
The shell.
What?
The carapace. That's what the crawdad shell's called. So the outline of this is the outline of, a crayfish, basically.
How do you spell that?
Carapace. So the shell design is there. So we were after we did this color, because this color here, okay, actually represents a bait fish as well. So we changed some of the belly colors on this bait here. So it can be a crossover bait. So you've got a bait fish pattern, you've got craw patterns. Really sweet. It's a really sweet system because this basically can eliminate a lot of other rattle baits that you carry by going to a series, so you can lighten the load, basically, because there's a lot of colors that go both ways. So it's a really neat system. You got to check it out. I wish, for my sake, I can pull the colors up because I love them. And so, but you can pull them up when you watch this today. You can pull them up and you'll see them all.
You weren't kidding.
No, I wasn't kidding, dude.
Carapace, the hard upper shell of a turtle, crustacean, or arachnid.
There you go.
Something regarding a protective defense covering.
See that?
Oh, well, this is in relation to under her carapace of self-confidence. She was very sensitive.
So this is my carapace right here.
You're very sensitive underneath.
That's right. That's right. So
Okay,
yeah, you have to check them out because I don't get excited. Well, no, actually that's not true. I do get excited.
You get excited every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
Very excited.
But I absolutely love the graffiti.
I think I'm slowly learning what LureNet's New Year's resolution was. Just badass colors in everything that catches fish.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. The beauty part, and I might be getting into some troubled waters here, but
it's proprietary information.
Yeah, but the beauty
just let it fly.
The beauty part about because I design a lot of the colors, and I did not do the graffiti craw. Unfortunately, I didn't do it because I wish I did it. That's how much I like it. But with the advent of social media, Bass Talk Live Day 4, we can collect data now. And so what we do is we see, what's working, what's not working, what lures guys gravitate towards, whether it's lures we make or not. I follow everything that has to do with lures because I want to see trends in the market. I want to see trends in fishing. New techniques. I study new techniques. Just like with the forward-facing sonar that we talked about last week. I've never had it before, so now I need it because I want to learn everything I can about it, because now we're talking about new lures. And so when I did the crappie game with Matt, I learned how to do the crappie thing. Well, when I got my forward-facing, I started crappie fishing with it to get better at bass fishing with it. Not using it like I'm a scoper. I just use it to enhance what I'm doing. But what I learned was that there's certain lures that would lend themselves way better to what we're doing. And so I actually created some already, and they're going into production as we speak. Awesome. So this is why it's important for me to be up on everything, always trying the new stuff, and really staying on top of our game. And so that's the color game, the lure game, et cetera, et cetera. But the graffiti craw, fabulous, absolutely 100% fabulous. So I'm looking forward to when the colors break, which is now. If you're watching this, I'm looking forward to when the colors break, because I got to get my hands on them, because I can eliminate probably.
Do they not just pre-send you that stuff? Like, I would think they'd be like, hey, here's what's dropping. Here's 6 of each color.
Well, I'm supposed to always get colors in advance. Now, when I paint them myself,
you got the color.
I paint them for myself, so I don't have to wait till they go to production. Because sometimes, in today's day and age, sometimes, I'll design something and you guys won't see it for 2 years.
Yeah.
And so, but I need it fish it, to get content with it. Plus everything that I paint, I fish with to make sure it's working or it doesn't go in the system. So, so it's important. But yeah, I mean, I was supposed to get them, but I didn't get them yet. I'll
I'd be on the horn.
probably get them tomorrow.
I'd say a half dozen of each color of both the FX. Well, you've got the FX colors.
Oh, I have the FX colors. Yeah, I painted those.
I mean, the real question now is, when are they going to come out with new colors of the throw pillows? I'm I'm tired of looking at only the threadfin shad of the spitting image. Can we get some more colors in the throw pillows?
Frank? Yeah, we're gonna put the throw pillows in the FX colors.
That would be insane. That would be insane, but I totally made that up off the top of my head, so don't expect it. Now they're gonna have to. There's gonna just be a demand. All right, can we go back to terminal tackle?
Yeah,
so,
we must.
Holy cow, we're on sidebars. So I wanted to, before you actually dove into it, I know when I was younger, I would hear the term terminal tackle, and I knew kind of what it involved, but just a quick and dirty explanation of what terminal tackle is. So, tackle attached to the end of a fishing line that gets cast out along with the bait.
Correct.
Is referred to as terminal tackle. It can include hooks, leaders, floats, sinkers, feeders, swivels, and attached snaps and or split rings. Sometimes the term rig is used for a specific assemblage of terminal tackle.
Yeah.
So that's what terminal tackle is. Like the rogue is tackle. Everything that is attached to the rogue is terminal tackle.
Correct. Split rings, hooks.
So there you go. I don't know if that even needed to be explained, but
we did it, and you did a marvelous job.
I read Wikipedia.
Okay, perfect. So in my terminal tackle box, this goes with me everywhere I go. If I go with fishing with Frankie or a buddy of mine, this box goes with me always, because it has all my slip sinkers, my Carolina weights, my plastic beads, my glass rattles, my jig rattles. It has everything in it. It's got all the hooks, worm hooks, treble hooks, etc., etc. And so this is what it looks like. So what I have here, and this is no plug on anything. I'm not sponsored by anything here.
Do not drop this.
No, I can't. I'll break my computer. It weighs 100 pounds. So this is a 3,700 box, only with half the depth. So I'll compare it. Let's do a comparison. So you see, it's not the same fatness, but it's got a lot of compartments. So here we go.
We're gonna go through every one of those. This is the. I hate the terms overused, but this is the juice.
It's got a lot of compartments, and you can see everything is labeled. So there's no room for error. Now these are I'm on the wrong side of the box.
I hate when that happens.
Because it's reversed on my screen. These are my little tiny slip sinkers.
Yep.
3/32, 1/16, 1/8. So everything's labeled. I've got my all my worm hooks are down here. My treble hooks are here, this line here. So I got 2, 4, 5, 6, and then here I've got 5 1/8 of a different brand treble hook, size 5 and size 8. Everything is labeled. All my slip sinkers. My slip sinkers start here and go here and then up here. And then I've got my barrel weights for Carolina rigging up here and here. I have my rattles, my beads, my swivels, and then here in this one here, I'll have my drop shot hooks, wacky rig hooks, micro swivels, speed clips. And then I've got in here I've got some sneaky underspins, just so if I grab this and I forget them, I got them with me. So I'll have my Great Lakes Finesse sneaky underspins here, but I have Great Lakes Finesse boxes set aside with their mini tube heads, their ball heads, and their underspins. But I put a half a dozen in here just so if I forget them, I've got them in here. Not now that the forward facing sonar game is taking effect, I got to make sure I have a few items in my terminal box that can get me by if I forget something. But this is it. I mean, if you knew how much this little skinny box weighed, you guys would lose your mind. So, and you see these things in here, this circle and this circle here.
Yeah. Can we crack that open?
Yeah, this is going to be tricky.
For those listening on iTunes, what Frank has done is he has just taken a Sharpie with a fine point and written on the front of the box exactly what is in that compartment.
Right. So let me show you what I did. I actually took Scotch tape and I put the Scotch tape down. And then I write on the Scotch tape, and then I take another piece of Scotch tape and put it over it.
So it doesn't smear. It can't get.
It doesn't wipe off.
It doesn't get rubbed off. And then if you want to change what's in that compartment, you just peel off the Scotch. Boy, that is
100%.
Has anyone ever called you a genius before, Frank?
Well, I think that's easy for me because I am a genius. I believe that should have been a shirt of ours.
Should be. Classic drop on the Frank Scalish exclusive merchandise, largemouth, smallmouth, spotted bass, and just some generic apparel as well. So, all right, let's crack open the terminal box because I do see it's not just haphazardly tossed in there. It is. Oh, geez, you're making me nervous now. You don't have to do that. I mean, you could just show.
We're gonna attempt it.
Oh my gosh, you're making me nervous.
How far could we go?
All right. Like you said, the first thing I notice in that are the little white deals.
Right. So those are those things from pill boxes that stop everything from rusting.
I wish I could remember his name. He was a BTL listener who sent that. Did he send him to you too?
Yeah, he sent them to me too.
He is a great BTL listener. I can't remember his name.
He's gonna kill me.
I use him in mine too. Shoot me if that's your deal. Shoot me a DM either at Matt Pengrak on Instagram or matt@basszone.com. I want to make sure we give you credit because you sent a couple of packs of those moisture.
It's wicking. Money. It's money. Yeah, I tried to read it, but it doesn't say on it. But they're money.
They're worth. Yeah, you need to buy them. If you have a terminal tackle box, they go in because they fit in the small. And then if you're using the stuff like the original ones, like that come in beef jerky or that come in like pill bottles or something,
right.
The hooks get stuck in them.
So you see, I got drop shot weights in here, slip sinkers, everything. All my treble hooks are in order by size, from number 1, number 2, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 8. Not that I use a lot of 8s, but some of the smaller baits might take an 8. So I don't have that many in there. Ooh, I am so glad I looked at that.
I'm going to make you open it again, though, because there's a couple other things in there.
All right, I'm going to open it, but I got to clip the lid back on. Okay.
Okay. I also noticed like a lot of the weight compartment, everything seems to be fairly full. Is that why you use a half-sized Plano instead of a full-size one, so it moves around less?
It moves around less, and they're easier to pick up.
Okay.
The reason I have so many of everything in here is because a lot of times, like if Frankie comes with me fishing, I'll just tell him, don't bring nothing, just bring your rods. Okay. I got enough for both of us. And so because rather than, and some of my non-boaters, when I fish Bassmasters, they would say, what do I need to bring? And I would say, I'd give them a little list of lures to bring. And I'd say, if you got, don't worry about all your terminal tackle. I'll have enough for both of us. Because, it's a pain in the neck for a non-boater to have to bring everything. Which is why this box here is so important to me, because this goes with me everywhere I go, no matter.
And you have bags inside of the box too. I noticed there was some stuff so you're actually.
So let me show you. Okay, so I'll just do this real quick. So so I have little plastic bags. So
Yep.
what's in a plastic bag? So for one, my Norman speed clips, because if these are loose, you'll never find them. So the speed clips are in a bag. Then what I do with my, for example, like my slip sinkers, well, these are drop shot weights, but so for my drop shot weights, it goes in a bag. These are in a bag because they're lead. My other ones are tungsten, but
Okay.
it'll have the weight on them. 3/8 on the bag, so I don't get confused. The other thing that goes in the bag are my hooks, my worm hooks. Let me grab.
And these are would you call those gotta be careful here. Jewelry bags?
They're pill bags. Yeah,
Pill bags?
they're pill bags that you could get at CVS.
Oh, you can buy those at CVS.
Yeah.
Oh, it does. It says it right there. CVS Health.
Yeah, so
Pill pouch.
these are 3/0 Mustad Ultra Points that everybody hates that I use. So
Did you get a lot of pushback on that?
Oh yeah, I did, but I don't care because I don't lose fish. So if you guys all that are losing fish, haha.
Is that them right there?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
A CVS disposable pill pouch, a must-have for anyone who needs to make medication on the go or organize their terminal tackle. These pouches are easy to use. It can hold up to 50 pills, making them perfect for everyday use.
Yeah, and they have the white spot on them, so you could write on them and label them.
Okay, they're $5 for 50 of them.
Yeah, so it seems like a pain in the neck, but it's not because it keeps everything together. So like in my Great Lakes Finesse, my sneaky underspins, I just put in a Great Lakes bag because it folds nice.
And then instead of having, if those come one to a pack and you want to carry 3 in this case with you, you'll open 2, put them in 1 pack, and then instead of having 3 packs, you just have the 1.
100%.
So you're downsizing for ease of
100%. And so yeah, so so that's kind of the way I do the hooks. But every single hook, except for my trebles, my treble hooks are raw. They're just dumped in the thing and labeled. My Carolina weights are not in a bag. They're just 3/4 ounce.
And run through in your terminal tackle box what weights of weight you are carrying with you, because this is your everyday use terminal tackle box. So run through the types of slip sinkers and Carolina rig weights that you're going to have with you every time you hit the water.
Okay, so the Carolina rig weights are easy. I have 1 ounce, 3/4, and 3/8 for Carolina rigs. Slip sinkers is a little much. I've got 1 ounce for punching, 3/4 ounce for punching, and then I have halves, 3/8, 5/16, 1/4, 3/16, and then in one little square I've got 3/32, 1/16, and 1/8.
So you carry all of them.
Yeah, and here's why: because there are times, and I think what we should do is do a Texas rig show.
Ooh, that'd be old school and fun.
Right, but we need to because there's times when weight matters. So for example, the reason I carry all the sizes of slip sinkers is because generally speaking, when I'm throwing toad style baits, like a tip toad or a horny toad, those kind of baits, I'll put a 3/32, a 1/16, or a 1/8 ounce slip sinker in front of it and peg it. It holds the frog in the water better, keeps it in the water better, so when the bass blows up on it, less likelihood of it flying out. The other thing it does is if a bass misses it and I kill it, it sinks the frog and they hit it on the fall. So that's why I got the little ones. The other reason is because there are a lot of times when you're fishing a dinger, a 5-inch dinger or a finesse, 6.5-inch finesse worm or a zoom trick worm, especially in South like Santee Cooper, the light slip sinker is money. And it's up to you to figure out how light you need.
Noted.
And so that's what I'll do. I'll usually start out with an eighth,
Okay.
and then because Florida's notorious for this, guys. Florida is absolutely notorious for the lightest slip sinker you can possibly get away with. And so you don't know how light they want it it's all predicated on the fall, the height of your grass, or in Santee, more often than not, you're pitching it against cypress trees, the base of cypress trees. So you don't want it to go boom. You want it to just lazily do its thing down there like a snake or a salamander or something.
Okay.
So that's why slip sinker rigs, most of the time I'm on a 1/4 ounce for Texas rigging baits. Even if I'm pitching and flipping, I like the lighter one, the lightest I could get away with. But the thickness of the cover, how strong the wind is, that's going to dictate what you need. Because
we need a show of this. We need to do just a
right.
show.
So we're going to do a whole slip sinker show because it's very detailed. Like you'll notice that some guys go out and they always seem to catch them on something Texas rig no matter what. And then you might go out and throw a Texas rig and you're not catching anything, or maybe one or two where they're catching piles of them. It's all, I guarantee you 100,000%. It's based on the size weight they're using and their line diameter, because it's all on the rate of the fall. And so it's very detailed. So I think we are definitely going to get into it.
How many of those do you carry in each one? Because that's the other thing I run into also is if I've got 30 half ounces, how many do I need to have in the boat with me? Because that's weight. I mean, if you're a co-angler, you don't want to be lugging 30 pounds of tungsten or lead down, but how many do you feel comfortable with having in the boat?
If I'm fishing a tournament, I'll have at least a dozen
of what you plan on using, or of everything.
What I plan on using. I'll have a dozen or more if I'm in a tournament. If I'm punching, you don't need that many punch weights. Yeah. Because if you break a punch weight off, you got an alligator. You know what I mean? You're just not breaking a punch. You're not breaking 50 or 60 pound braid. You're just not doing it. Flipping and pitching is a different issue, because if you have to use lighter line, you're going to get break-offs based on zebra mussels or the type of debris you're fishing.
Okay.
So I'll carry more. The smaller sinkers I carry way more of than the bigger ones. Now, my barrel weights for Carolina rigging, I load them to the top.
As many as you can fit in.
As many as I could fit in, because if you're out of those, you aren't Carolina rigging. And so I make sure that I have plenty of those.
Those are several compartments that I can store miscellaneous things in my boat. I don't have a Carolina rig box.
Yeah, well,
I carry 0 Carolina rig weights with me. I will, if I have ever, and it has happened one time, I just Carolina rig with my punch weight.
Yeah, and you can do that. I've done.
I mean, it's a $10 Carolina rig weight, but
right, exactly. Well, truth be told, all my Carolina rig weights are tungsten.
Yeah, just for feel.
I want that. I want to feel everything. I want to know if that's in mud, if it's on sand, gravel, rock, wood, whatever.
Okay. You mentioned several different types or several different sizes. You said micro, but barrel swivels. Talk about what barrel swivel you like, and then how many different sizes. And are you familiar enough? I'm always confused as to
crane
can
swivel.
You have a too big barrel swivel, or can you have one that's too small, or what is the breaking strength of them? I mean, is there anything that a barrel swivel can actually help you catch more fish?
Yeah, crane swivels are tricky.
What's the difference between a barrel swivel and a crane swivel?
Well, they're probably the same. You're just calling them something different. So here's the micros. They're tiny.
Yep. And what are you using those for?
I'll use those sometimes for drop shotting between the leader and the line, floating worms from the leader and the line.
spinning rod applications, light line, where you're going to get line.
Yeah. I'm not going mental on it because you can't.
Do you know what size those are?
I think they were number 8 micro swivels, if I'm not mistaken. And then here's the funny part about this whole thing is I can't find my big ones.
I'm blaming.
Oh, here they are.
Mikey Jr.
I got them. And then these are my big size ones that I use for Carolina rigs and in front of super spooks and stuff like that.
All
And
right. I'm assuming that's a different box. You did not pay $20.25 for that bag.
No, I don't know what the hell was in this bag. It's probably something for fly tying.
Oh, okay.
But but that's what they are. And so that's, and then again, I got here, I'll show you an example because I got a loose one. This is how big it is.
All right. And then you're good to go on your.
It's small. Yeah, it's not small, but it's got, I forget the breaking strength, but I've never broke one of these in my life, ever. So I think it's a size. Hell, I don't even remember. But anyhow, but compared to the micro swivel, compared to the micro swivel.
Yep. Yeah, it's like twice the size.
Yeah, it's magnum.
Okay.
But yeah, and then my plastic beads, which I only
adjust your little mic thing on the side. I'm getting a little crackling all of a sudden for some reason.
Oh, because it's rubbing against my hoodie.
Yeah, there you go.
But for the plastic beads, I load it up, and then I also have my bobber stops in there. Also.
Okay. So pretty basic, but that's a really good just a basic system that stays in the boat 24/7, 365. If you're co-angling, that's the same one that you take with it. It goes right back in the boat. You spend 5 minutes at the end of every trip, restock what needs to be, organize what needs to be, and that's a massive headache that you no longer have to deal with then.
100%, and everything's right there. I wanted a seal-proof box that won't let any moisture in, but they don't make it with enough compartments for me. And then the other thing I found out with the seal-proof boxes, if you open that thing in the rain and then you close it, you sealed all the water in it, and everything is going to get demolished. So you're better off with a breathable box that you can put those, moisture wicking cylinders in there to keep the moisture out. And truth of the matter is, since I've been using those, I don't have any more rust issues.
Yeah, there was zero rust. That's the other thing. If you get rust in your terminal box, are you starting over?
100,000%, because if you ever look at a rusty barb on a hook, it's going to break right off. The barb's going to come right off, and you're essentially fishing barbless. And because it's a sliver of a piece of metal that comes up, that's the first thing that rusts. That and the hook point itself rusts. And once the hook point starts to rust, it won't hold the point anymore. You could resharpen it, but what happens is, instead of it being a nice thin needle point, now you're starting to make it more like a chisel. And it doesn't penetrate as easily.
So what do you do if it's raining and you need a barrel swivel or a number 3-aught EWG? Like, how do you keep your This is my biggest thing. I've had immaculate terminal tackle boxes. I probably go through one a year. That's the problem. Like,
right. That's a huge problem. And
so do you have any tips or tricks on how to keep the rust out, how to keep the moisture out when you're in a rain?
Yeah, a lot of my hooks, except for my treble hooks, are all in Ziploc bags.
Oh, okay.
And so then what I do is, when I open my compartment lid, I don't open the lid. I open it so it's, like that, and I kind of crawl inside and just get what I need out, close the box, close the lid. If, like, in the tournament situations, when I was fishing Bassmasters, a lot of times you're fishing and it's a torrential downpour. So then what I'll do is if I'm flipping and pitching and I know, let's say I'm throwing a lizard and I'm using a 2-aught hook, I'll put a Ziploc bag with about 5 2-aught hooks in my pocket, my front pocket.
Because
And
I
then
was thinking that might be.
you know, that's really good, except when you start running down the lake if you forget to take it off.
I'm just thinking the oversized umbrella hat while you're working on terminal tackle in the rain might be worth the 1247.
Yeah, like on some events when we get to the hotel and it's pouring like a madman, I'll go to a building that's got an awning on it and pull under the awning. Now you can't do a gas station because they need the pumps, but sometimes banks are closed and they have the drive-through awning on them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good idea.
You know what I mean? If I didn't want to bring everything to the room.
What I have started doing is carrying a cheap hair dryer with me when I'm on the road. Like, let's say I've got back-to-back opens and, if I have a day where it practices and I get the stuff wet, I'll just plug the hair dryer in and take the boxes inside and dry them out that way.
Yeah. You have to get them dried out. I had a spinnerbait box with all my handmade spinnerbaits in them, and
you don't have it anymore.
No, they got wet. I didn't realize it. And at the end of the season, when I was taking everything out to put them in the basement and opened them up, I was livid.
Yeah, I was livid
because I had, and the other thing is never put a jig away or a spinnerbait or a chatterbait. Never put it away with a plastic trailer still attached to it. Because everything we have is salt impregnated today, and the salt accelerates the oxidation process.
I will say I'm a pretty much a huge War Eagle spinnerbait guy.
Fabulous.
But man, you get them out of the package and you throw them for a day, and if you don't take care of them, they're a one-day spinnerbait. If you take care of them, if you dry them out, if you make sure that all the moisture is out of the swivels and the hook and the skirt is dry, they'll last you a long time. But you have to take care of those War Eagles, or else.
Yeah, in actuality, you have to take care of all of them.
Yeah.
Because the problem is the spinnerbait beads are hollow with a hole in them. They hold moisture. Your ball bearing swivels, mostly what rusts on them is the split rings. The split rings and like some of the Booyah Covert series with the Hildebrandt blades.
Mm-hmm.
Those blades traditionally they're not going to rust on you, but what does is eventually is the split ring, because think about this. The blade is into the split ring. The blade spins and wobbles and clings and clangs, and it takes all the finish off those split rings. And so what happens is then they're superbia. They're not, they can rust because they get worn out. It's like scratching your car. You scratch your car and eventually it's going to rust because there's no more protective coating on it.
So you're talking right about right in there.
Right in there. That's traditionally that's where all the rust starts. And then if you leave your trailer on the hook, that's where the next set of rust starts. That's why it's important to always remove your trailer, no matter what. Even if it's not raining out, take that trailer off, because you'll get condensation or moisture based on temperature changes. And that trailer is impregnated with salt. So it leaches out of the soft plastic and it's on your hook and it's surrounding your hook. And that'll be the first thing to rust. Always, no matter what.
What else you got?
Dude, nothing, man. I'm showing everybody how OCD I am.
Do you put your hook points all the same way?
Yeah.
You think that's important so that they don't bang against, or is that just a Frank SCALISH thing?
It's just a my thing. So when I grab one out, I don't grab 30 at one time. The problem is my treble hooks. I used to put a pipe cleaner through them and
Mm-hmm.
then twist it one time and have them all nice and neat, but that can't last. It just doesn't last. And then the metal from the pipe cleaner is cheap metal and it rusts the first thing to rust. So I quit doing that. My treble hooks I pack to the rim so they don't move around in the box, because as they vibrate and oscillate, you could dull a hook point. So I pack them in so they're not, sloshing around. Slip sinkers don't matter. Nothing's going to break on a slip sinker. Worm hooks, I put the hooks all the same way. Ziploc, squeeze the air out, Ziploc it shut, fold it over, and put it in the thing.
I am not questioning you by any means, but I do feel like I have a better system for storing the treble hooks.
Fire away.
Super thin slits in that. That's the G box by Gamakatsu, and then you can just put all your treble hooks in each slot. It is also waterproof, and then they do not move at all ever, and it's super slim, and you can just put.
You could put a million of them in that box.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that box for my flies, dude.
Yeah, you have the. Do you have any of these?
Yeah, I do. I tie my all my redfish and tarpon flies go in boxes like that.
That's how I keep my trebles.
Yeah, that's money. But now I got to carry 2 of these instead of 1. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you. It's nice to have everything all in one. Then when you go fishing, you got to carry that one. No, I'm with you.
You know what I mean?
I'm with you.
See, hooks and sinkers.
Yep.
But yeah, because the thing I wanted to eliminate with terminal tackle was the use of multiple containers.
Yeah, and especially if you're a kayak guy, that's a beautiful system because you have one box and everything's there, and you don't have all the little things floating around the yak with you.
If I was a kayak guy, I would be horrified to have this in my kayak.
Oh, just because of how much it weighs?
Well, no, because you're sitting it on your lap to open it up to get something out, and if
those guys are used to that. They have like tethers for their phones, and they're always on the verge of catastrophe.
Yeah, that would just wig me out, man.
Hold that terminal tackle box up one more time, just the front. Make sure everything's closed. We closed. We closed. We good?
We're good. We're lock, stock, and barrel.
I like it. That's a good looking terminal tackle box, Frank.
Everything you could possibly want terminal tackle is right.
I'd say 75% of the things are inside of the little pill or plastic bags inside of the terminal tackle box. There's very few loose, free-floating items in there.
Right. The only thing loose and free-floating are my drop shot weights and my plastic beads and my treble hooks. Everything else is in a Ziploc. Those little pill bags. And they're money, dude. They're worth the money. I mean, I buy them all the time. They're so worth it. It keeps everything right there. I do it for my ice fishing box, for my crappie box, everything. It's all right there.
I'm all in on it. That's some helpful. Like I said, it's the transmission of your truck.
Yeah, later this winter though, we're gonna do an in-depth slip sinker rig show. I think we need it.
100%. All right.
Remember, guys, got to check this out before you do anything today. After you watch the show, go check this out.
How do they do that oil finish? Is that like proprietary stuff, or are you even capable of doing that, or is that some
I do. No, the way they do this is way better than the way I do it. It's a heat stamp basically, and so I have stuff that I can do oil finishes because I have to, because I create them for them. So my way of doing it is archaic. It's not the right way to do it, but I get away with it because I'm not doing tens of thousands of them. I'm doing 6. You know what I mean? But it's cool. It's super, super cool. But man, this bait, I love this bait.
It does look pretty cool.
It's so good. Anyhow.
You want to do it next week, 8:30 a.m. Central Time? Live?
Yeah, let's do it live.
Who is that? I'm not getting political, but it was Bill O'Reilly who's like, "Well, do it live, right?"
I don't
We'll
know.
do it live. You don't remember that where he goes, "We're doing it live."
I don't remember that,
You
but
go,
I do.
We'll do it live.
We're gonna do it live. But
That's exactly what he did. You know, you've never heard that? It's like famous.
No, but that's where I got bloviate from. That's how I learned the word bloviate.
What was the word that I learned today?
Carapace.
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 It's always good to learn new words.
All right, this has been another edition of Day 4 with the man Frank Scalish, a terminal tackle show. As we get into the winter, it's a perfect time of the year. You sit down, you order the stuff, you get it in, you get in front of the TV. It's dark, it's cold, it's wintry out. Have the best looking terminal tackle box in the league when you get out there the next year.
Until the first day you use it.
All right, we will talk to everybody next week. See ya.